Hey guys, Lawrence here. It's been a very long time since I've done some sort of subscriber updatey vlog style thingy. So today's video is actually going to be 2 days for me. So today's Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, obviously. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the upcoming videos and also do a SLX 12-speed drivetrain on the old Canyon over there. Tomorrow we're picking up a brand new bike. That should be interesting. It's also one for a review. So I don't get to keep it, sadly, but that's for tomorrow. First things first, what's coming up on the channel? At the bike show, what was it, a month ago? Something like that. I talked to the people at Vittoria. I have now Vittoria tires. I couldn't find them in a shop anywhere near me, but they were awesome. They actually sent me 2 Martellos, 2 Motas as well, and I can test these. They're not going on the bike behind me, they're going on the enduro bike, because these are like heavy trail or enduro tires. They're actually really heavy, and yeah, I've got 2 of each, so that should be very handy. First impressions, they feel really well built and very tacky as well, so that should be interesting to do. They also sent me their airliner. This is I guess some sort of competitor to Huck Norris and the sort of tire inserts, because this is just a tire insert. But the interesting thing with this one is that it has like a groove at the bottom, groove at the top, and a bunch of little holes in here as well, so the sealant can flow through, and you just cut it to the length you want, put a zip tie and hold it together. The reason I also asked for these is because I was told these also work as a run flat system. So if you do eventually puncture during a race, you should still be able to ride down without the tire coming off of the rim on these. So that should be very handy, very interesting to test as well. It's gonna hurt on my own rims that I bought myself, but we'll give it a shot. And then what we're really going to do today on the Thursday part of the video is we're updating the bike behind me. Now, I already installed the first bit. So the first bit for me was getting SLX 1x12 cranks on there. So it's now got the SLX M7100 12-speed on there. That's already finished. But I'm also gonna put this big boy on. Now this is a Sunrace and it has a model number on there, MZ90. I've got the gray version, you can also get it in black. And this is a standard Shimano free hub cassette, but it's an 11 to 50. So I can put these massive cogs really on my old bike, which is like a 5-year-old bike. It doesn't even have through axles, so there's no way I can put an XD or a micro spline on. But this will fit, and to go with it, I obviously have a 12-speed SLX chain, 12-speed SLX derailleur. This is the M7100 SGS. There's also a 7120. I hope I got the right one. And of course, an SLX shifter, which comes with cables. This is like an hour and a half of riding. I still don't get why Shimano hasn't addressed that somehow, but they haven't. Anyway, on the back at the moment, I have a, what is this, 11 to 36 10-speed cassette, and this is a medium cage XTR derailleur that I got super cheap, but again, this is like a 5-year-old setup. I'm getting good at this. So the Suntour cassette is packaged pretty strangely, actually. It's got all the normal cogs up here, but then there's plastic on here, and the 11 is on the back. So it's got the big block, a 3 cog block, and then 4, and then there's a tiny 11 tooth separately. And then of course we're going to torque this very carefully to spec. The torque spec with cassettes, by the way, is about as tight as you can get it, which is like this. That's about half my body weight, so that should be, yeah, 40 Newton meters, half my body weight, seems about right. There we go, one dirty old worn out chain. Next up, getting the 10-speed XTR derailleur off. It's actually a bit hard seeing this one go. I mean, this was like my first XTR derailleur, and you know, growing up XTR was like the coolest thing ever. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say emotional, but you know, it kind of meant something to me having one of these guys on. I was always pretty proud of it, but now it has to go. And boy, did I put it on tight. Oh boy. There we go. It's kind of beautiful. I mean, this is like a, what, 6-7 year old derailleur? It's still really good looking. I mean, just look at it. With like the diamond cut here and then the carbon cage. This is like a really seriously good looking derailleur. So the reason we have to replace this cable is because Canyon uses different pieces of cable. So it's actually an inner only inside the frame. And I had to drill out the holes to fit the dropper cable because it's all very tight in there. And what happens when cables get very tight is they start rubbing on the frame. It wore through the paint here, but it also wore through the outer over here, or at least it's very much on its way to do so. And this is of course not good for shifting performance. So you know how in like dream build videos, when you push the cable in on one side, it always nicely comes out the other? Yeah, that's not really happening. I can just about see in this hole, if I actually shine a light in there, the outer cable is in there somewhere, but I can't get it out. And actually, I've been swearing so much just trying to get the old cable out of here, cutting it both here, pulling on this side, snapping, and then pulling it out on the other side. I can't use that for the video because that was just too much swearing. Now I'm gonna have to try and fish this thing out on this side first. Then drill out the leftmost piece of plastic here. Just put a drill bit through. And I'm gonna have to drill into the aluminium over here, try and get that hole big enough. And I'm actually gonna have to try and fish the cable out. I don't like doing this part either, guys, but the hole is already there. It's just sized for an inner cable, not for an outer cable. So I've got this 5mm drill bit. The hole in there is about 3mm. I'm just gonna widen it a tiny little bit, and that's it. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Structurally, the frame will be fine. We're just making the hole slightly bigger. There we go. That's all I had to do. All right, and so you know it's pretty serious once you have to start taking your pants off to actually get anything done. But after what feels like an eternity swearing at basically everything, I finally got the outer cable in a single piece through the plastic protector here, which you can pull down a little bit, and there's a slightly wider slot in there, all the way through here, out of this thing, through the little plastic bit, then all the way through the down tube, out of this hole, and now I just need to put it over there, put a shifter on there, and then the inner cable will go through very, very easily. All right, now we should see how easy that is? Actually a bit of dirt coming out. I finally did it. However, it's now nearly 9 o'clock and I started doing this at 5:30. So I screwed up a bunch of times. It's why I'm not showing everything, because it's just, I'd make a massive fool of myself. First thing that I did wrong was putting the cassette on the bike. This cassette actually requires a spacer over here. If there's no spacer in there, what happens is the chain actually gets stuck in the spokes. I thought, oh, this is pretty close. I wonder if that'll work. Well, turns out it didn't. So the chain was actually getting caught in the spokes. That wasn't very good. So in order to take the cassette back off, put the little spacer in, I had to take this entire thing off. And so that meant also taking off this red anodized original Sunrace lock ring. When I put it back on, this top cog got shifted a little bit. I didn't see it, so this thing didn't go in properly, and I completely stripped all the thread off. So I had to go back, and now I have a, can you see it? A Deore XT. lock ring. It works, but obviously it's a bit sad that that had to happen. I then screwed around for ages finding the quick link. Where is the quick link? I still can't find it. Oh, here it is. So I was messing around with the quick link a lot, and you're only really supposed to use this one once. Yeah, that didn't really happen. I actually took it off 4 times or so, so I'll have to replace this one with a new quick link. Next thing I screwed up, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff I screwed up. That's why it took me so long. I put the chain on the wrong side of this metal little holder, and then I got all upset because the chain was rubbing and I didn't really understand it. But that was not everything. I screwed up even more. You see this cable here? I put it on the other side, and so when I tried to go to the 12th tooth, it was also hitting on itself and I could not get into the 12th tooth. Luckily, I learned from my mistakes and I'm telling you them right now, so then hopefully you won't make them. So it was a little bit too late to show you guys yesterday because it was already dark, but this is basically one way to get 12 speed. There is another way, which is the good old gearbox. Actually, this is pretty new technology in bicycles, but this is the bike that I picked up for review, and I'll be posting a review on this Pilot Scram Pinion in about 3 weeks. So stay tuned if you want to see that. Basically, it's a gravel bike with a gearbox. So no derailleur, no chain. This is always nice and clean. That's awesome. It's a really nice looking bike, and because it's titanium, it should be very comfortable as well to do gravel riding with. It does have a carbon fork, so it should be really comfortable. It's got these really weird, super flared out drop bars and a custom-made shifter, because otherwise you can't get a pinion on drop handlebars. So that should be interesting. This is like machine metal. I already have some doubts on it because of comfort, but we'll see where it goes. Anyway, that was it for me for today. I'm gonna pack up, get the Vittoria tires on and do some testing on those. Thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video or if you want to see what's coming up in the future. Cheers!